Well, the military solution, Abhishek, can correct me if I'm wrong, somewhere down the line has at least been, an engineered pullback of the 3 flashpoints in eastern Ladakh, that the 5 that they existed, and that's about it, because ultimately something that we're witnessing right now will only deepen fault lines in the India-China relationship, which has already been fraught by tension.
Preeti, the Indian service chiefs have said it time and again that things are not normal in Ladakh. So even though that disengagement has taken place, on ground things haven't really changed. And we've reported this extensively, explained to viewers what this disengagement means. Yes, it means that there's no eyeball to eyeball confrontation, but moving back a few meters in those areas doesn't really mean anything, because it's the enhanced deployment that has led to the mutual distrust. And there are buffer zones that have been created, according to which neither of the side is supposed to go to those areas which are essentially friction points. But both sides are keeping a close watch on those areas, and they do try and physically check whether the other side is coming or not. So that's the kind of distrust that's there between the two sides, that they're not believing each other. And what's even worse is that, it's rubbing on to other sectors as well. I was in Arunachal, last year, exactly in some of these places where the face-offs have taken place now, and things were not normal there as well. And what we were told is that yes, there has not been a confrontation.
Abhishek,
like
we're
that
losing your audio line. We're going to try and correct that. What we will do meanwhile is we'll connect to General Shankar Roy Chaudhary, who's joining us. Appreciate you joining us, General. How do you read, General, the latest flashpoint that this time, since Galwan 2020, there has been a clash that has been reported and injuries on both sides?
Hello?
Can you hear us, General?
I'm losing you, but I've got most of what you said.
Go ahead, General, go ahead.
Right, no, I think we are unnecessarily nervous about all this. There's a lot of infrastructure that India has built up, and I think we are being unnecessarily nervous about since 1962. The times have changed. We've built up a lot of infrastructure here, a lot of troops here, so we are on even balance. There is no need for nervousness.
Okay, we seem to have lost General Shankar Roy Chaudhary, but we're going to try and reconnect that line. But Shiv, the general of the opinion that we don't need to be nervous, that we have enough in terms of infrastructure backing us. But ultimately, Shiv, if you do look at it, you were talking about a political solution. All right, we don't seem to have Shiv, but we're going to try and get in as many reporters on this developing story as possible. You just heard General Shankar Roy Chaudhary. He says there's nothing to get nervous about where the Indian side is concerned, that we have built enough infrastructure, that we've done enough to secure ourselves in terms of the threat where Chinese are concerned. But what we can report, viewers, and we will do it responsibly, is that there were clashes reported on the 9th of December between India and China in the Yangtze Tawang region of Arunachal Pradesh. Now, injuries reported from both sides, minor injuries is what we are being told. There was immediate disengagement after that. The Indian counterpart, in terms of the Indian commander, held a flag meeting with their Chinese counterpart, and a discussion was had to try and normalize things at the earliest, and where the tension was concerned, to de-escalate that. Ever since, there's been a sense of peace and calm in the area. But yes, one has to admit that post-2020 Galwan, this is the first incident where there have been clashes that have been reported. Things have got heated up along the border, both where Arunachal or most flashpoints where India shares its LAC, especially in eastern Ladakh with China. There have been things which have gotten, in terms of events, which have been heated, but this time around there's been an actual clash since Galwan Valley 2020.